You ever wonder why we're so obsessed with monsters? I mean, whether it's some beast that nobody can explain or a force of nature we just can't control, there's something about the unknown that just pulls us in. So today, we're going to dig into what that fascination really says about us. And we're going to start not with a myth, but with a monster that was terrifyingly real.
So, let's go back to Joplin, Missouri, on May 22, 2011. This isn't some spooky story told around a campfire. No, this monster was real, and the damage it did was something everyone could see.
The human cost was just brutal. Around 160 people lost their lives. That's the cold, hard horror of a monster that we can actually track and measure. And that impact, it doesn't just fade away. The Associated Press called it a cataclysmic force. It was so incredibly powerful, so destructive, that we find ourselves having to retell the story again and again just to try and wrap our heads around it.
That need to make sense of something so huge and terrifying, that's something we all feel. So let's pivot here. What happens when the monster isn't a storm we can see coming, but something else? Something hiding in the shadows?
Believe it or not, there's a whole field of study dedicated to searching for these things. It's this quest to find the animals that are living, well, off the map and out of the science books.
It's called cryptozoology. And no, this isn't about hunting ghosts. It's the very specific search for animals that people claim to have seen, but that science hasn't proven exist yet. Think of it as biology's wild, unexplored frontier.
And the creatures they're looking for? They have a name: cryptids. That's the official term for things like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Basically, any animal whose existence is all about stories and sightings, not hard evidence.
Now, this isn't just about a couple of famous monsters. No, this search spans the entire globe, with a list of creatures as diverse as the cultures that talk about them. So let's do a quick trip around the world.
Cryptozoologists kind of group these creatures into a few main buckets. You've got your hairy hominids, that's your Bigfoot. Then there are the classic lake monsters, mysterious big cats seen in the countryside, giant birds that sound like they're straight out of a legend, and even stories of dinosaurs that somehow survived.
And this is where things get really interesting. Because here you're looking at a real, tangible object. It's a pelt bought back in 1927 that was thought to be from an Andean wolf, a species nobody recognized. So is it a new animal or just a case of mistaken identity? The whole mystery is woven right into that fur.
Let's take a classic example, the almas of Central Asia. For centuries, the description has been pretty much the same. A hairy, wild hominid, but with these key human-like details, like bare hands and a bare face. And get this isn't some New Age folklore. This is an account from a soldier way back in the 15th century. He claimed he saw two almas that had been captured, and the detail he gives, it gives these old legends a really surprising dose of reality.
I mean, the range of these things is just unbelievable. On one end, you have these half-human creatures from old myths, and on the other, you have giant birds like the roc, which was said to be strong enough to carry off an elephant. It's like these creatures touch every single corner of our imagination. So this is the big question, right? With all these stories, all these sightings, why aren't these creatures in our biology books? To figure that out, we have to take a hard look at the evidence itself.
Let's take the alien big cat sightings in Britain. The reports are super dramatic. A big, black, panther-like animal roaming around, killing livestock. But for every one of those sightings, there are some pretty logical, scientific explanations. It could be an escaped puma, a big feral dog, or just someone misidentifying a normal animal in bad lighting.
And this right here gets to the heart of the whole problem. Our own senses can lie to us. I mean, think about it. You're out in the woods, the light is bad, you're stressed or scared, and on top of that, your memory isn't a perfect video recording. All of those things can make you think you saw something new when it might have just been something familiar you didn't recognize.
So if the evidence is so shaky, why do we even keep looking? Why do we tell these stories, whether it's about a real monster like a tornado or a legendary one like Bigfoot? Well, it all comes back to this really basic human need to understand the world around us. And here's the spark that keeps that hope going. Scientists figure there could be over 100 million different species on Earth. We've only named about 1.8 million of them. That means our planet is still fundamentally a giant question mark. We're literally discovering hundreds of new species every single year.
And that's the real driver, isn't it? It's not really just about finding a monster. It's about the search itself. It's about collecting the data, cataloging the sightings, and trying to find possible explanations. It's this deep, deep human need to try and explain the unexplained.
Which brings us right back to our final question. When we come face to face with a monster, whether it's a devastating storm or a creature from a legend, we're forced to face the limits of what we know and what we can control. So what does our endless search for them, our need to name and explain them, what does it all really tell us about ourselves, living in a world that is, and probably always will be, full of mystery?